Wow, can you believe we finished season 1? If only there were bonus content.
Okay, sure, we can do that route. I was gonna make a plain joke, but let's take that again from the top without me interrupting
Wait,
you, I
what's your plain
promise.
joke? Wait, what's your plain joke?
I was gonna say, we've been cruising through the skies for so long, it's time to come in for a gentle landing. This is your
Okay,
captain speaking.
I hope there's something interesting in the gift shop. Or like, we have to make sure to stop by duty free, you know? Is that good?
Oh, this intro gets cornier and worse every time we do it, actually.
That's good.
There was a time when we were doing it as, like, ironic corniness,
Yeah, and now we've embraced
but
it.
now we're just, like, full corny. We're just into it now.
I keep waiting for us to do the podcast thing of, like, stumbling into a good intro, and I think our good intro is just cheesy shit. My original suggestion was having a beginning quote and an ending quote like Criminal Minds, and you said that was
Yeah,
stupid.
and I shot that down. And I stand by that. I stand by that wholeheartedly. Let's not mince words here. Alright, do you want to actually do an intro now?
Oh, hey, B! Wow! Can you believe we finished season 1? If only there were bonus content!
Jay, I have the best news for you.
Yeah?
I have the best news.
The
There
best
is bonus
news?
content, and we're in it right now.
We are in the bonus content episode of this podcast, Wheels Up?
Yeah, it's really wild, actually. It's kind of a meta goof where, like, we are aware that we are in the podcast episode.
Wow, maybe the bonus content was the friendship we made along the way.
Now, I'm pretty sure the bonus content was the 2 featurettes on the DVD that we watched, and then ranking every episode.
Yeah, alright.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to a bonus episode of Wheels Up. We have done our due diligence. We have watched every single episode in season 1. So, for this episode, we went into the DVD that Shay has and watched the making of documentary, the little featurette.
And the secret gun.
And the secret gun option. And we're going to talk about them a little bit here.
Yeah.
We are also going to rank every episode in this season from worst to best.
And we have some corrections corners courtesy of my mother.
Oh, so true. I forgot about that one. I love that. I love that very much.
What should we start with?
Let's start with the making of documentary, because I think that one was actually fun.
Okay.
And I need to take this time to remind people that Criminal Minds was shot in 2005 on film.
Yeah.
A genuine film camera was used. I had no expectations for this season looking good, and I will admit, it doesn't. It shows its age pretty badly. But, like, imagine being in 2005 and seeing this on screen. It kind of would have made me lose my mind.
You think so?
I think it was actually pretty good for the time.
Perhaps.
I think it was okay for the time. Because it doesn't hold up great, but it does hold up, you know? At the very least, it's watchable, which is more than I can say for some things from 2005.
Fair.
So why don't you walk me through the documentary? Do you want to walk me through it? Just like what this little documentary was so weird.
It's weird. Okay, you know how we always say Criminal Minds is a weird show? Like, the editing is weird, their choices are weird, the characters are weird. This making of documentary, the making of Criminal Minds, behind the scenes, was weird. The documentary itself was weird.
Yeah, it was just fucking weird.
Yeah, so we don't have to talk about the way it's edited, but it was edited kind of weird. It was funny as fuck. They would talk about, like, so, we'll say when we get there. It's hilarious. Okay, anyway, It starts with Mark Gordon, and he says, "What really interested me about Criminal Minds is that people are really using their brains." And then it just cuts to Gideon like mind palacing.
And it's the most fucking head off, brain empty
uh,
thoughts he could have had.
we also met Jeff Davis, the creator, who's 30 in season one, which feels like much too young to be creator showrunner of a television show, especially Criminal Minds.
It is absolutely too young to be creator
That's probably why he
of
left.
Criminal Minds, the television show.
Yeah,
It is
like
absolutely.
if you had told me, oh yeah, the guy who created Teen Wolf was 30, I'd be like, yeah, all right, sounds like a 30-year-old guy thing to do. If you told me the person who created Criminal Minds was 30 and also created Teen Wolf, I'd be like, what?
And the thing, he created Teen Wolf after Criminal Minds, so he was like 35 by the time he created Teen
I
Wolf. And
know.
yeah, I
Wild.
just, it is bonkers. If you guys know anything, like 30 is really young to be a showrunner
Yeah.
in Hollywood. Like, it's not young to be a writer, that's fine. There are very young writers in Hollywood, but it is pretty young to be a showrunner
I mean,
of a
imagine
show
like
that then
getting
ran for 15 seasons.
imagine getting your shot to make a television show, something people go their whole lives without getting, and you're just like some 30-year-old dude. And you make Criminal Minds.
And you make Criminal Minds of all shows, and you get fucking kicked off of it after like season 2. Like,
Amazing. Okay. Mark Gordon says he was excited about the show. Deborah Spura, who was another executive producer, she was like, we were all shocked that the show did well and that it got the reception that it did. And someone showed us like the board and like the ratings, and they were like, yeah, I don't know what these numbers mean, but like this episode, What Fresh Hell, got a 10.63 out of 15. That's how well our fucking show is doing. And nobody expected the show to be any good.
literally, the live ratings for this show are like surprisingly good.
Yes.
Like, overall, right? Seasons 1 through 15 of Criminal Minds all did pretty well on air. Like, as good as you can expect a crime show to do.
And like they did really well on air, and then they are now having a revival on streaming. Like this show is wildly popular. And for what?
Wildly popular.
And for what?
And for fucking what?
Okay. The next section,
Exactly.
the next section of the documentary was about creating the characters. So Mark Gordon, the producer guy, said they wanted their characters to be interesting and attractive and also believable, but mostly interesting and attractive.
Which, Hollywood.
Yeah. And they talked about how there was like a very long casting process, but they don't go into more detail than that. Just like, yeah, it took us a long time to cast the show. And they talk about how, like, at the core, the BAU profilers are a family. And it's really, like, nice to me because I wholeheartedly agree, but it's nice to me to know that that was, like, a part of their philosophy.
Yeah, they like actually gave a shit about trying to make them into a family. I like that.
Yeah. And I think that, leans a lot into how season one doesn't do so well, but, for the rest of the show, we see those strong, strong interpersonal bonds between all the characters. And it's nice to know that that was part of, like, the core philosophy of the show.
Yeah, even if they didn't say it out loud, it's nice to know that they were always at least thinking it.
Yeah. And Shamar Moore said there was on screen and off screen camera chemistry.
Which we knew. We knew.
We know. We've been
We've been fans of the show for a bit. We've seen Shamar Moore and what he posts on social media. We're aware.
Yeah, we do have pictures of most of the cast kissing each other.
Exactly.
There's that. Okay, so they talk about Gideon and Mandy Patinkin, and Edward Bonero, the executive producer, says that Gideon is the team's mom. He's the mom of the
Which
team.
I love, because nobody gives you trauma like your mom, and nobody gives out trauma on this show like Jason Gideon. I think it fits.
They do all have mommy issues, but like Gideon is the mommy.
Exactly.
I mean, think about how Elle even calls him mom a couple times, and he's like, "Stop calling me mom."
I think it's so funny
So
how they were
funny.
like, guys, what if we,
Yeah.
guys, fuck gender norms? What if we just made this man the mom of the group?
Yes.
I think it's really funny.
Hmm. The costume designer said that his whole look, he looks like retired. That's why he's wearing those like shitty retired dad shoes, the khakis, the open terrible button downs. Like he just like is a retired
Yeah.
looking dude.
I love it.
Yeah,
I didn't realize this until she said it. I was like, oh, yeah, no, he does absolutely look like a retired dad.
yeah. And then Mandy Patinkin says that Gideon's character is basically like taking all the darkness and bad stuff and filtering it to be like light and goodness, that kind of thing. Also, Mandy Patinkin sounded like ready to die. Like he was like describing, like looking at all these pictures and like thinking about all of this stuff, and he's like, and it haunts me. Now I know why he left. He was straight up just like, this shit sucks to look at, dude. I hate thinking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but like it's completely like
yeah,
number one, we'll get to it in the show when he leaves at what, the end of season 2, beginning of
yeah,
season 3, something like that.
yeah. Season 3, episode 1.
Um he just left.
Yeah.
He also like did not formally quit. He just did not show up for work.
Yeah, Mandy Patinkin just did not show up for work one day.
So like
Like I read that the season 3 episode 1, the reason it's like a flashback, it was because it was supposed to be the last episode of season 2, or like it was gonna be like the beginning of an arc or like something like that. But because he didn't show up, they had to move it to be like the first episode of season 3.
it's just so number one, you can even tell in this little like making of documentary how much it was like already starting to weigh on him.
Yes.
Which like true, like this shit's brutal and like the people who actually like the FBI agents who actually do this shit are haunted by it.
Hmm.
I also though not to be like it's not that serious, bro, but like you're an actor.
He also didn't
Not
he
to
go
like
on to do Homeland?
yes.
He just went on to another crime show.
Well, Homeland was a few years later, I think.
But like still, like you do Criminal Minds, you take your time off to recover, and then you go back to the same type of thing. Like go do a
Like another
sitcom.
spy drama thriller. Yeah, it's just it's strange to me. I like not to obviously like not to negate his feelings on the matter. It's
Right.
completely valid to feel like burnt out by this work and like looking at all of this every day does definitely haunt you. Also, you're an actor on a TV show. Go to therapy instead.
Ugh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, go to therapy
Like
instead.
I don't know. It's just like it's so interesting to me to hear the way that he talked about it here and then also to like have the knowledge that he just sort of abruptly leaves. He just quits.
That's another thing.
It's weird, right? I'm
Yes.
not the only one in thinking that that was weird, right?
No, I think it was incredibly inconsiderate.
Well, yeah, obviously to quit in the way that he did is actually incredibly inconsiderate and I'm surprised he got another job in television, period.
It's because he's Mandy Patinkin.
It's because he's Mandy Funkin' Patinkin, dude.
Next up, Hush slash Thomas Gibson. Here's the thing. Okay, we have two halves of this. For the Hush half, Edward Bernero calls Koch the tree that doesn't bend. He is like the center of the group. His steadiness lets everybody else be themselves and deal with things. And that like if he ever had the way Edward Bernero said if Hotch ever cried, we'd probably be crying first. And I'm just like thinking about the times in the show that Hotch has cried that have made me incredibly emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, bruh. Seeing Hotch break is like, fuck, dude. It's really not okay, is it? Like, as long as Hotch is calm, I know we're okay. As long as he's keeping
Yeah.
it together, we're okay. When Hotch loses it, ugh, that shit kills me. We're not okay anymore, folks.
It's not okay.
Yeah. They also call him the true believer. He's like a true believer in the FBI, and he's like the only one that we see that has ambitions like beyond. or like ambitions to move on in the FBI, which I thought was really interesting to think about. I mean, obviously this is season one. Emily Prentice, we know, has ambitions to one day also be director of the FBI. Um, but obviously season one doesn't exist. But it made me think like, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's really
also
weird.
I would say though they're incorrect. I would say JJ probably has some ambitions to be a higher position in the FBI, but they don't ever really like talk about that as much. But like Garcia is happy with where she is. Gideon is like children, or Derek is chill doing whatever it is that he does. Like he loves that. Elle is right where she wants to be. Reed was dragged into this to begin with, and Gideon's on his way out. Hotch is the only one who's like, the FBI is good, it is important, and I would like to be more FBI, please. Uh,
Yeah.
and then someone said like, because of him being so sturdy, it is important to rattle him, and we like have to beat him up, you know, because that's what's interesting, is seeing him being rattled and
Beat up.
shaken. Yeah.
And I agree, actually.
I love seeing Hush beaten up.
I love seeing him get his
Yeah.
shit kicked in,
Speaking of
emotionally and physically. I think it's
emotionally
fun.
and physically, of course. Speaking of Shamar Moore, has some
I love
very
Shamar
gay
Moore.
energy. Shamar
Okay,
Moore,
this whole documentary is weird. You guys should absolutely, if you can find it online somewhere, watch it because it's fucking hilarious.
yeah,
But every single time Shamar Moore is on screen,
and it's a lot.
it's just like, wow, man, wow. Shamar Moore was
Wow.
certainly like, he is certainly a character, and it's just,
Yeah.
and what was that guy doing, huh? Like,
What was
what's
what was
Shamar
Shamar Moore
Moore's
like
deal?
doing?
What's
Who
his
is this
deal?
man?
Who is Shamar
Like
Moore?
Shamar Moore, very much like Bathyray Gubular, just like showed up in this show, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, him forever." Different
It's just so
demographics, but
weird.
still, yes. Anyway, Shamar Moore calls Thomas Gibson a walking Ken doll. And he says, no one looks as clean as Thomas Gibson in a suit. While he's like rubbing his fucking hands together. Like, damn. Amazing, amazing, amazing,
It's
amazing.
just so,
It's so good. I love
like,
it.
what goes on
Yeah.
in his mind that makes him do that, you know?
And then immediately after this, we talk about Elle. And Shamar Moore goes, oh, Lola Gaudini. She's. But she's married, so I can't go any more in depth than that. Shamar
What
Moore!
the fuck is Shamar Moore? Like, what is his
I don't
deal?
know, but I fucking love it. Give me some of what that guy has.
What
But
is he on? I love him.
I know. But speaking of, he says that, Al Greenaway can't talk about more. She's married, and then it cuts to Al shooting a man.
It cuts to the first episode where she murders the guy as he's standing right next to Gideon.
So good. Yeah. So they talk about Elle's character, and they say that Elle's like always wanted this. This is her like dream position, but at the same time, she's like the voice of skepticism. So she's the one who's always like, I don't know, like the straight man. Like she's the one who's always thinking about this in terms of like real world, you know, like someone does something
Yeah.
stupid, and she's like, that was stupid to do, and no one else really has that as much. Um,
Yeah, I feel like everybody else in the BAU, especially season one, feels so like untethered to reality sometimes.
mm-hmm.
Where you're like, okay, yeah, sure, you're a boy genius, all right, whatever. Ella's just very much like, that's stupid. This is a football team that I like. Hi, I'm from New York. Like, she feels so, I don't know, like tethered to reality in a way that some of
Yeah.
them don't. Like, especially Reed and Gideon don't feel like real people.
Mm-hmm.
Elle and Derek feel like real people.
Yeah. Derek gets a little bit into the like, I'm role playing mysticism of the FBI. but
A
he
little
still
bit too
is
much, yeah.
like, I think like Elle, Derek, and Penelope feel really real world. JJ does in a different way. JJ feels like corporate, like feels like a real person,
Yeah.
but it's because her job like is to be the real person of the group. It's like her whole job.
Yeah, I feel like Hotch and JJ only feel like real people because they're like our corporate CEO idea of a real person, you know?
Right. Right. Yes, exactly.
Also, you mentioned Penelope, Elle, and Derek,
Yeah.
and I think that would be a very fun ship. I'm just saying, I just want to point that out. I want to put that out into the universe. I think that'd be such a fun ship.
I
All
think
right, goodbye.
Elle and Penelope barely interact. I just like can't imagine them being friends.
I think they would be so fun. It's Sunshine GF and then and then like
Yeah, you're right.
bitchy
I
like
guess
goth
so.
GF and then also Sunshine Jock boyfriend. I think it would be very fun.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right. You're right. You're right. I like it. I like it. I ship it. What
We
would
don't
we
have to go
say?
too far into it, but like I think
More
it'd be fun.
Sal. Then they go to talk about Derek. And Derek's role is to put himself in the shoes of the killer. He role plays. He's the one who like really like gets into their position. Thomas Gibson says that Derek has a bat belt, like Batman. He has a bat belt because it's full of gadgets,
And
and
he does.
he makes Derek come over. He's like, Shamar, come here, show me your bat belt, and it's got like two phones, a beeper, his badge, his gun, and he's like, I'm a gadget man. That's what your mom says. I'm a gadget man. I got my gadget belt. It's like, okay. And then they say Shamar Moore has the crazy fans.
I'm glad somebody like acknowledges that Shamar Moore is sort of a weird person in this universe, you know? Like I'm glad somebody is acknowledging that Shamar Moore is a little weird.
Yeah, this documentary was like, just like, okay, you guys see it too. Every time they would say something about a character or an actor, it'd be like, okay, yeah, this is on purpose. Like, you know what you're doing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, they talk about Spencer. Um, they basically are like his brain works like a different way from everybody else. And then they say in any other job he'd be weird, but this is like his niche. And I just like to say like he's also weird in this job. He's
He's
also weird
weird.
in this job. Like he can be weird, it's fine. Matthew Gray Gubler says his original image of Reed was like a pencil thin mustache, long hair, big glasses, and he was more of a deranged hermit and less of a clean cut scholar, which was interesting. Um, and they describe his outfit and they say he's like probably wearing his grandfather's ties. He's got like old shoes, the mismatched socks, and then he probably copies Gideon's wardrobe, dresses like Gideon's because Gideon's his mentor figure. And that this job is his first real like life experience. Like he knows everything he knows from reading, and this job is really like the first time he's getting life experience, which I don't know if I agree with. I mean, I know you're like the showrunner or whatever, but I don't know if I agree with that because he went to fucking college as a child. Like he went to college when he was like 12.
Yeah, true, but also, what good is college if you're 12?
I
You
just feel
know?
like he would have had to navigate social situations and like talk to people and like do all that kind of stuff. So like coming to the BAU, like he should be like more equipped to handle that kind of shit. I don't know.
He's so bad at it though.
Yeah,
He's
he's
so bad at everything.
so bad at it. All right. And then they talk about JJ for like 5 seconds, and the first thing they say is, "Oh, good, I can tell you what her job is." And I was like, "Yeah, they don't really super explain it in the show, but we can infer." Anyway, she's an FBI agent who coordinates press conferences and is the public face of the team. And AJ says that JJ is like an intern slash sidekick to Hotch and Gideon, which I really like. The idea that she's like learning from them, and that's why I think she should have kept like a management position. Like I don't think she should have become a profiler. I think she should have become like assistant unit chief and then unit chief. Like I think she should have. It would have been cool to see her stay in that like I don't know administrative side of things instead of it just like always being Hotch and Rossi and then Emily. It would have
Yeah.
been cool to see her grow in that way instead of just like now she can punch, you know.
God, so true. What good character growth, though.
I know. Um, yeah, and then Edward Banera was like, she's different from everybody else, and she's like colored differently from everyone else because she's like blonde and tan. She's got the big blue eyes, and like it's interesting to have a character whose like point is being pretty, which like
Which,
annoying but also sure.
it also, though, I like it because so much of like what we think of like JJ's characterization is based off of the fact that she knows that people just think that she's the pretty one,
Yeah,
right? And she uses that to her advantage. So I like that even in season 1 here, he was like, I mean, like, you can be the pretty one, but like,
yeah,
I feel like the show always knew that she was the pretty one and that she liked being the pretty one to an extent, right? But
right.
like the show never did that extra step of like she's using the fact that she is quote unquote the pretty one to do X, Y, or Z. Like they never really like use that, you know?
They do a couple times. I mean, we see it in like Ride the Lightning, right? Where she goes in and like acts like one of the guy's victims. And then in season 2 there's like the Henkel episodes, the police guy won't let them look at the police files. So she like bats her eyes and she's like, please, it's the only thing they'll let me do. And then the guy's like, all right, I'll help you out. You know, she like, they do like a couple of times. I think they could have cleared
Yeah.
up. I do like the path they chose of her being end up being like annoyed by it. Where in the beginning she's like, "Yes, I'm cute. I might as well use it." And then as time goes on, she's like, "Fuck you! It's Agent Jero." Like she just gets real mad. Anyway, this is not about JJ. Then they talk about Penelope. Okay, the original concept for Penelope Garcia was an extremely
Yeah.
overweight, balding Latin man who answered the phones. And they changed it to Kirsten
Yeah.
Vagness and also made her like the tech person. I think originally it was just he was gonna be like the receptionist, and she's like,
I think it was
no,
originally set to just be like a one,
yeah, one
just to be like
character,
the one episode. And
yeah.
then they were like, oh man, she's actually fun.
She's actually like the best person on the planet. Yeah. And Kirsten Vagness calls Penelope Garcia a tech kitten, which is a mixture of a tech goddess and a sex kitten. I love it. And Shamar Moore went, oh
Which I
yeah,
love.
she's my baby doll. Love her. I love her. Which is so true, Shamar Moore. And that somebody said, I think the costumer said, like, oh yeah, Garcia agreed to work for the FBI, but only if she didn't have to abide by their dress code. Which I know it's not canon, but like, here's another how Penelope got started. Oh,
I
so
think this is
funny.
fun because this you can just imagine in conjunction with
The
all
Black
of the
Queen.
other
Yeah.
Penelope backstories that do and do not exist. I like this because it's like Schrodinger's backstory for
Yeah. But
Penelope, you
in
know?
all of them, she did refuse the dress code. You know?
Exactly. That's the one constant.
Yeah. And they said that her character is kind of like the light because like things can get so heavy. She is the like light and the fun of the show, which is even in season 1 is so true. Um but I just think of like
Hmm.
of Derek Morgan when he's like, "You're my God-given solace." Like she's the one that they can all kind of like turn to because she's always so positive, which I really like. All right. Then they start talking about the writer's
I love
process.
that.
I love that too. They start talking about the writer's room. So there are 6 men and 4 women in this writer's room, all white except for one Asian woman. But 4 women and 6 men, that's almost gender parity. That's amazing. Oh, I thought this was very interesting. The executive producer calls them the Knights of the Round Table and points out that the briefing room has a round table.
And he says it like this was like a many months plan that they always sort of had.
Yeah, he
They
thinks of the
You
team
guys will
as.
remember if you just watched the last episode. Yeah, they have been assigned their like kin assigned Knights of the Round Table for
Yeah.
ever.
Gideon is
But like
Lancelot, Bessie is
we
Merlin.
didn't actually get this in the show until the very end with Fisher King. And you have to wonder, is that because they wrote Fisher King first and then continued to think about everybody as the Knights of the Round Table? Or did they write Fisher King because they were already thinking of everybody as Knights of the Round Table?
It has to be that way because remember when I was making fun of Elle for saying we gotta go to the round table room? They were like calling it that, the round table. So they say that the day before filming, they have their table read. So everyone comes together, all the guest stars, everybody comes together to do the table read. And Lola says that the writers are very open to questions and like thoughts you have about your character and like things you've been tracking, which was interesting to me. I mean, we kind of know that right from AJ's pregnancy. They bring like Will in and stuff like that. It was just interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it's also I think it's also a lot because like this is season 1 of the show. Everybody's still trying to figure out the characters.
yeah.
You know, everybody's trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here cuz girl, I do not know. You
So
know?
funny, yeah. Also, they they aren't allowed to write scripts at home. They have to write in the offices, in the Criminal Minds offices, so that they can like walk from room to room and talk to each other, which is like
Which is
interesting.
just that's normal actually. That's
Really?
fairly normal to like do most of your writing in at least like the start of it in office. When, you know, before a global pandemic and everything, when we were all still regularly in offices,
Sure.
there's a reason why they're like writers' rooms where you just go for like weeks and weeks and weeks on end just to write, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why writers have offices and shit. So
Yeah.
that's actually fairly normal.
Hmm.
I just want to let
Yeah.
folks know that if you didn't know how TV writers' room works, right? Writers'
Yeah.
rooms worked. Now you do.
And also, the executive producer said that they all practice killing each other. Like all the ways the characters die, they practice beforehand. So, like in theory, there's nothing on the TV show that wouldn't work in real life, which is interesting.
God, writers are such fucking fun little psychopaths. Writers are
Yeah.
so fucked up and weird. I say lovingly. Writers are so fucked up.
They also keep a tally of the death toll in every episode. They said in season one, the count that was the highest count was the fox with 4 kills. And then they have a real BAU profiler who comes in and is like, "This is too Hollywood. This works." Cool. And then they switch over to the crew. There's about 150 people work on Criminal Minds,
At least in season 1, it was
at least in
100
season
ish
one.
people.
So we learned a little more about that green screen backdrop thing that they do. So it's just like they just put it on the set they're already on. They just stick it there so that it feels more natural and like the lighting is the same. Say what you said about cutting it.
So, a lot of the green screen stuff looks bad by today's standards, but also please remember this was shot in 2005, so it was like okay and good for back then. But the other thing you have to remember when it comes to special effects and stuff like green screen is these were shot on film. They were shot on film. So you needed to have something that you could reliably match cut from like the office set to like the green screen set. So for example, when, you know, Derek or Reed is having one of their moments where they're walking and they sort of the room around them fades into like a green screen or into like one of those weird green screen shots. It's the result of them doing the whole scene in front of the office and then the crew bringing in a green screen and then doing the whole scene again the exact same way so that your editor could match back and forth and like figure shit out. So just like keep in mind that shit like this was still shot on film, which is again, they don't go off of film until like season 4 and then they don't go into HD until like season 5. So there's always that. Anyway,
Wild. Wild to me. And they said that the green screen is there to like visually express thoughts. They have a real thing against people talking. The whole
yeah,
documentary was like no one just wants to see people talking. So like they talk about the
nobody.
jet. They talk about the jet being like they're talking, but it's you have a feeling of momentum because they're like already on the way. They're already going there, as opposed to them like sitting in the briefing room and talking and talking and talking and then having to go. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And the green screen is the same way. Nobody just wants to hear them talk about a case. The green screen makes it like visually interesting. I don't know how I feel
Which,
about that as a concept. The jet I get. I like the jet. But the idea
yeah.
that people aren't gonna just want to like listen to what the show is about. The show's about profiling. No one's gonna want to listen to them profile. I just like but also like I
I think a
get that
lot
it's
of
like a
it,
visual medium
yeah, it's a visual medium. There's a reason this is a TV show and not like a radio play,
or
you
like a
know?
book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean I
It
get
it
it.
makes sense to me because TV is a lot about like what can you do to make this visually interesting while still saying what you want to say, which I think is sort of their big point to having the green screen shit.
Yeah. Still dislike it. Still think it's weird.
It's
Um
still it's still weird. It's still bad.
yeah. They talk about how they shoot an episode in 8 days. They have 8 days to shoot each episode, so it's like really
Mhm,
fast. And
mhm.
they have to build their sets like super fast. Um, then something I didn't like think about was they build a police station for every single episode. They have to design and build a police station for every single episode.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
most of this show, I would say probably a good 80 to 90% of the show is shot on one soundstage in LA.
yeah,
Like a good probably actually no, I'm probably going to be generous because they do have a lot of outdoor scenes. I'll say maybe like 60 to 70% of the show is just shot on that soundstage.
yeah. Wow. They talked about how they purposefully gave the BAU levels because they thought it was more interesting to film like higher, lower, coming out of the offices from above. Like being able to see up into the briefing room or down out of the briefing room. I thought was interesting. And then they talked about how the reason that those vertical windows are to mimic like a fortress. Like they want the BAU there like bullpen to feel like a castle. Again
Yeah.
with the castle, the knights, the round table.
I think that's actually a very inspired choice to make. The
Yeah,
sort of like catwalk levels thing. Architecturally it makes no fucking sense as to
right.
why
Like why?
it's there. There's no goddamn reason for it. But for a TV show, that's a really good design choice,
Yes.
honestly.
Like I love
It's
how many times
fucking solid.
Does Hotch come out and just lean on the railing and be like briefing room now, and like you're like they have to look up to talk to Hotch. They do that like authoritative like high ground thing, and then Hotch can
Yeah,
look
it's
down
just
and I love it. I love it.
yeah, it's a very inspired choice for a television show. Makes no
Yeah,
goddamn sense architecturally or like there's no reason for it, but I do just love it.
yeah. I think that's a great choice. They talk about all the different drying blood, the different bloods they have. They have blood that's meant to look dry, blood that's thick, blood for your mouth, jelly, blood that doesn't stain, all this kind of stuff. And we were realizing that like Criminal Minds has like kind of a horror movie, like a shitty B horror movie vibe. Criminal Minds.
It
Every episode is a
does.
tiny little shitty horror movie.
It is. No, you're completely 100% correct. And I think a lot of that comes from like the visual style, but also like I think their effects supervisor in this documentary mentioned that he got his start in horror movies, and I'm like, this super tracks actually.
Like
All
it
the blood and
feels like
guts
an
and special effects.
80s, like 80s, just like slasher. All the pictures of like the knife and the guy walking, and then like boom, they're in the doorway, and like you close the door
All
and
like the
there they
sharp
are, and
cutting.
like yeah,
Yeah. It all tracks. It all is a very yeah, no, the special effects especially whenever there's blood on screen, it's like a shitty horror movie.
yeah, and I we mean this with love.
Yes, I do mean this affectionately. Some of my favorite movies are like
Oh yeah,
objectively bad.
and it also makes me laugh because like AJ Cook, her whole shtick is shitty horror movies. Like with the exception
Yeah,
of
and
like
unfortunately
this,
it is.
she's like the lead of Final Destination 2. Like it just like makes me like laugh that she like is a shitty B horror movie person and now she's in Criminal Minds. Right at home. Okay. Oh, they also talked about how like they have screaming auditions. Like they audition people to be like the characters that just scream, and sometimes they're like, "Oh my god, you would be a great victim," and they just like, I just that just like made me laugh. Like I know that's like a thing, and of course I've like thought about it, but just like, fuck, that's funny.
Also, like, it made me think of like how we haven't gotten. They haven't really missed when it comes to like screaming, you know? Like all of their
No,
screams that they have on the show sound pretty real.
yeah, yeah,
Like they don't miss with their screaming auditions. They find the right screamers for the fucking
they do, they
job.
do. Oh yeah, then there's one last section that was basically the writers being like, "Yeah, it's scary when you leave the set and then you have to go home and it's dark out." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, yeah, yeah." Okay, that's it for
Yeah.
that one. It's just like a
These
short little cool thing.
yeah, these were like what 14, 15 minutes long?
Yeah, that one was a little. That one's probably 20 minutes. The secret gun one was like 5.
Oh yeah, there is a secret gun option on the season 1 DVD. You got to kind of look around on the screen for it, but there is a secret.
We just happened to like mouse over.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
like lights up and is like reads revolver, and it's like a secret gun option.
I was
I
like,
don't
"What
know what
happens
it
if we?"
is. It's just
I was like, "What
fun.
happens if we click the hidden gun?" And it was just like another thing. I'll just tell you really quick. It's pretty quick. They we got confirmation that that after Gideon leaves, Hotch moves into his office. We also found out that Garcia's office shares a wall with what was Hotch's office and then became Rossi's office. And then they talk about how all of their departments and offices and everything are all in one building, which is like very, very convenient. Um, and that the show has 3 editors and 3 assistant editors. That's what we learned from the Secret Gun episode, the Secret
Yeah,
Gun
it's
one.
like Edward Bonero's assistant just sort of like walking us around the
Uh,
set, and you get to see how just like normal film crews look. They're just like a bunch of dads
yeah,
on like various vacations, you know?
yeah. Okay,
Like that's just it.
should I draw a correction corner?
Oh yes, we also had a correction corner from Jay's mom. It's
Yeah.
really funny.
I have one quick one that I forgot to tell you about beforehand. That's real quick. From Maeve from the Gemily Discord.
Thank you, Maeve.
We said that Lila never gets mentioned again. And Maeve corrected me and said that one episode in like season 4 or 5, JJ goes, "Hey, do you still talk to Lila?" And Reed goes, "I'd rather not talk about this." And that's the only time she's ever mentioned other than the episode she's in.
Oh, wonderful. I
Yeah.
love. Thank you, Maeve, for that good
Yeah.
little correction because that made me laugh a whole lot.
That's funny. Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's funny.
My mother is watching Criminal Minds so that she can listen to my podcast.
I love that.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, I did say machismo, but it is machismo with the cha, and that's my bad. I'm a
With the cha.
I'm a bad Spanish speaker. Second, I talked about how Elle's voice when she speaks Spanish is weird, and I said I like Lola Gardini does not speak Spanish well in this episode. My mom says that one, she's speaking Mexican Spanish and not Cuban Spanish, and that's why it sounds bad to me because it is
Yeah.
incorrect to my ears. She should be speaking Cuban Spanish. She's Cuban. They literally say it. Why is she speaking Mexican? Great. Two, my mom thinks that her voice was like dubbed over either by somebody else because she was like, there's some scenes that like it does not sound like the same person. Like your voice does not change that much when you go between English and Spanish. So my mom thinks that some of Lola Gladini's lines were spoken by somebody else.
Which would definitely make sense, or it was just like ADR'd by somebody,
Yeah, yeah,
by
yeah.
like an actual Spanish speaker who still managed to do the whitest pronunciation of Spanish. But yeah,
I know.
it.
Yeah,
There are some scenes where it does definitely not sound like
yeah,
Lola Gladini's voice.
yeah. My mom also said that Elle should have had an accent, either a Brooklyn accent or a Spanish accent, because my mom is a Cuban who lived in New York for many years. And she did not, like, when they said that Elle was Cuban from Brooklyn, my mom went, "No, she's not."
I love the
Oh.
just confident no.
No, no. Also, so this is a correction. So I said that if Lola Galadini is from New York, she should be Puerto Rican because most of the Hispanic people in New York are Puerto Rican. So my mother gave me a little history lesson that I'm now sharing with all of you.
Oh, I love it.
In Yeah, in the 60s, early 60s, there were a lot of Cuban refugees. The early 60s was the first wave of Cuban immigrants. There were, like, first it was children. This program was called Peter Pan, where basically
Yeah.
it was like a bunch of children of like political refugees and, you know, war refugees and stuff were all just sent to Miami by Castro. And then after that came people who could afford it, moved to Miami. But there was the Miami Cuban Refugee Center. The government gave them $1 million fund, which is $8.5 million in today's money, to help Cuban people. And what they did with that fund was they said, "We will give you $300 to leave Miami." In today's money, that's $2,767. They said, "We will give you $3,000 if you leave Miami." And they sent them to 5 places: New York, Union City, New Jersey, Chicago, Atlanta, and Milwaukee. That was where they sent them. They said, "Please go."
Please leave Miami.
Yeah.
I
And yeah.
love the fact that they just paid people and they're like, please go anywhere
Yeah, please go
else.
somewhere else.
I love that
Yeah.
they're just like, here, just take $300 and go, please.
Yeah. My mom said
I
that
think that's very funny.
in New York City, they would have gone to Manhattan. My mom was like, "There's a place, it's called like Devil's City." I was like, "Hell's Kitchen?" And she's like, "Yes, Hell's Kitchen." So they would have been in like Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan. Now they're more in like Washington Heights or in Queens and Jackson Heights. But they would have been in Manhattan. So the fact that that Elle is from Brooklyn, not out of the realm of possibility, but much less likely. She should have been from Manhattan. Um, but I doubt they cared. Yeah.
Also, why doesn't she have an accent? I would kill to see Brooklyn accent Elle now. I think it would be so
Brooklyn
funny.
accent Elle doesn't give two shits about you.
Oh my god, she would lose her fucking shit. She would say like coffee and we'd lose our fucking minds.
Elle, no. She calls them bagels. Hey, I brought everyone some
that's my
bagels.
shitty accent, actually. But
That's
yeah,
a New
she
York
said
thing, isn't
fucking
it?
like. No, I think I can't speak on shitty accents. The only one I can make fun of New Yorkers for is coffee, because I think that's very funny.
Coffee.
But I get yelled at for the way that I say bagel all the time. So
Bagel.
I can't talk shit on anybody else in the world saying bagel.
Bagel.
Anyway, thank you to James's mom for correcting us and teaching
Yes.
us a little history lesson.
Thank you, Maria.
So true, Miss Maria. Thank you so much. Now we get to the fun
Yeah.
part of this episode.
Hell yeah.
What we are going to do is we are going to close your notebook so dramatically because we are only going off of vibes from here on out.
It's all about the vibes.
It's all about the vibes. We are going to rank every single episode of season 1 against each other. So we're going to go from worst episode of season 1 to best episode of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to start really easy, and then it's going to get harder as soon as we get up, because we're going to have to figure out what is the actual best episode of this season.
I haven't thought about what the best episode is. I don't know if you'll be able to convince me it's something else.
Okay. And then once we've done this for, 15 fucking seasons of Criminal Minds, we'll be able to find the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And then also the worst of the fucking worst. And I think we can both agree our least favorite episode of this season was The Tribe.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad we both agree on that. I'm putting that down on the spreadsheet right now.
Mm-hmm.
In case you guys forgot, The Tribe was the very bad racist episode.
The Native American very bad racist episode.
Yes, the one that was very bad towards the Apache people. If we're going by number ratings alone, that means that our second least favorite episode was Machismo. Does that track for you? Because that tracks for me.
Yeah, I'll give Machismo that.
Machismo gets the dubious honor of being ranked 21 out of 22 on this list. From there, you can pull up this spreadsheet if you want to see your rankings as well. If I go off of my number rankings, that means my number 20 this season is What Fresh Hell. I'm also pulling up the IMDb page for this just so I can remember what these fucking episodes are.
My Fresh Hell was the one where the girl went missing and they thought it was the dad, but then it was like the guy that takes care of his car.
Yeah, you're right. It was the guy who takes care of his car.
Hold on, where's that spreadsheet? Here we go. Stats.
Yes, the stats sheet. You guys can see all the wonderful stats, and I'm also just sort of exiting off of things, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
So if I'm going purely off of rankings, my next one would probably be What Fresh Hell, or Broken Mirror. I think out of those two, I liked What Fresh Hell. But Blood Hungry is also right down there for me.
I gave Ride the Lightning a 1?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know.
This is why I said you can't change your rankings because these are now set in stone forever and ever and ever. But if you do want to rank like Ride the Lightning higher than something else that you've given like a 2 or a 3, that's totally fine.
I would
get funky fresh with it.
I would put Plain Sight very low.
Okay, but are you putting it third least favorite of the season low? And you can also, by the way, if you scroll over, I have the rankings set up there.
Oh. What did we give? Wait. What is this?
I know, this is a hard...
God, you've got a whole ass spreadsheet going here, don't you? Dang.
This is what I love! I don't expect you to understand, I just want you to accept me!
I would put... Oh, but I don't like the... Okay. I'm gonna
put What Fresh Hell as my number 20.
I'm gonna put Blood Hungry.
Yeah, that was my
20.
other. So Blood Hungry is your 20. I think Blood Hungry is gonna be my 19 because, in case you guys forgot, that was the one where it was like religious cannibalism, kind of, and it was the little boy who sung like an angel.
Yeah. Put What Fresh Hell as my 19.
As your 19? Okay.
Yeah. And then right above...
I like how you're like, James, please put that as my number 19, as though you cannot type yourself.
I know, I literally just occurred to me that I could do this myself. I'm putting Plain Sight as my 18.
Plain Sight? I didn't think Plain Sight was that bad.
I guess not.
Both of us ranked Broken Mirror lower than we did Plain Sight.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
The numbers don't lie, James.
Charm and Harm.
Oh, God, Charm and Harm.
Damn, Broken Mirror, Plain Sight.
I know, right? Hey, guys, this is gonna get difficult the more we go into episodes that are like just okay, but not good.
Yeah. I'm going to put... No, I'm putting Plain Sight as my 18.
You're still putting Plain Sight as your...
Oh, do I like Plain Sight more than Broken Mirror?
I liked Plain Sight's case a little bit more.
No, you know what? You're so right. You're right. No. Yes. Okay. Broken Mirror as my 18. Are you going to put it for your 18?
Broken Mirror is also going to be my 18. So I'll cross that off the spreadsheet. I hope you don't mind. I'm just kind of highlighting the ones that we've already done.
Then do I like Charm and Harm or Plain Sight more?
I liked the case of Plain Sight more than I liked the case of Charm and Harm.
Yeah.
Is sort of what I'm going off of here.
Okay. Charm and Harm is 17.
Yeah, because that is true for me as well. Ooh, but Secrets and Lies. Do I like Secrets and Lies?
I know, I was just thinking about Secrets and Lies.
Less than I like Charm and Harm.
Also
just kind of saying episode titles. We should probably go through a quick recap of what these episodes were about as we're ranking them.
Okay.
In case you guys forgot, Charm and Harm was the one of the they had caught the killer. They knew who the guy was, but they were tracking him across the southeastern
East.
United States.
Yep.
Kind of, yeah. I think Charm and Harm is going to be my rank 17 because it's just not good. But I think after that, Secrets and Lies is so not good, the CIA case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Secrets and Lies is going to be my rank 16.
Yeah.
Is it going to be your 16 as well? I'll put it in your...
I don't know because which one was Somebody's Watching? Oh, Lila. Oh.
Somebody's Watching was Lila.
Somebody's Watching is my 16. Yeah. Somebody's Watching is my 16, and then I'm gonna do Secrets and Lies. That's what I'm gonna do.
I think...
And then Poison.
Oh, you're
Somebody's...
okay, hold up. Let me catch up.
Yeah,
Let me
so
catch up.
Somebody's Watching is the episode where they go to LA and they meet Amber Heard and they make out. Just stupid. Secrets and Lies was the CIA episode. Poison was the episode where the dad like kills his son and they find out that everyone's getting botulism but like also roofied.
Let's see. I ranked that one higher than you did, huh? Hold up. Let's go back through our rankings again here because I have gotten to the point where my lowest ranked episodes right now that I still haven't put down are A Real Rain. Oh my god, how did I forget A Real Rain?
Mm-hmm.
How did I forget A Real Rain?
I'm gonna put that one a little higher because I like Tanya Pinkins.
I mean, yeah, Tanya Pinkins, she can only do so much. I think, hold up, I think I'm gonna put A Real Rain under Secrets and Lies and Somebody's Watching. I'm gonna put A Real Rain at 16 because I fucking hated that episode. And then, oh god, and then we're caught up. I liked Poison. I guess my next episode that I would probably have to decide between is Plain Sight and Ride the Lightning. Or wait, I've already done Plain Sight. No, I need to decide between Plain Sight and Ride the Lightning for my number 13.
I know, this is really hard.
This gets really hard when you get up into the episodes, when you get up here, because now we're both at like rank 14, so we're going into like the top half of the season.
Yeah, okay, so far I have The Tribe as the lowest, and then I have Machismo, then is Blood Hungry, then is What Fresh Hell, then Broken Mirror, Charm and Harm, Somebody's Watching, Secrets and Lies, Poison. And then I'm gonna do, finally, Plain Sight.
Plain Sight is gonna be your 13.
Yeah. How did that end up so high? I hate... It's like all of these are bad for me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, which
all of
is
these are
worse?
bad, but we have to decide which is the worst of the worst, and this time it was really easy because it was The Tribe. But in future seasons, it might not be so easy to find the worst case. I think I am also going to go with Plain Sight. Oh, but is it Riding the Lightning? Is Riding the Lightning my 13 or is Plain Sight my 13?
Plain Sight is, because Riding the Lightning has some A++ JJ content. And Plain Sight is boring.
True. And plus Plain Sight is just such a boring case. Okay. Yeah.
So Riding the Lightning for 12.
Okay, so both of us have Plain Sight at our 13. We are going into the top half of the season.
I might put Compulsion.
To the top half of our rankings.
I'm gonna put Won't Get Fooled Again as my number 12.
Won't Get Fooled Again. Was that the bomber one?
Won't Get Fooled Again is the bomb one where he's a forger, not a bomber.
A bomber in Palm Beach forces Gideon to confront and all that. Sarah, yeah.
This is the one Gideon.
Oh yeah, that's the one where they do like the XX hot teen looking for email, looking for inmate XX email, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then at the end, Gideon is like, "I told everybody, like that you killed a kid, so now they're gonna murder you."
Yeah, that one was fucked up. Okay, I'm also gonna go Ride the Lightning. I'm gonna go Ride the Lightning for... Oh, well, but Ride the Lightning was good. Yeah, I'm with you. I won't get fooled again, even though we both ranked it pretty highly.
It was the third episode. We didn't know.
We didn't know the lows that we would get to eventually.
Yeah.
We didn't know. Okay. Are there any ones that I have not marked off on the side that we have both ranked?
No, because you haven't put poison down yet,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's 12.
and I
All right.
haven't put a
Perfect.
real rain. Damn, this is hard. Okay, number 11. I might
Number 11.
do unfinished business purely because I can barely remember it. It
No,
was like,
that's the one in the book. That's Max Ryan in his book.
oh damn, you're right. Maybe I'll do LDSK as number 11. LDSK or
LDSK
compulsion.
was the sniper in Des Plaines, Illinois.
Yeah, I'll do LDSK as 11. I hope this is interesting to listen to.
I hope this is, because like I also think it's going to be fun for folks to like maybe go through their own rankings for this season and be like, "Oh, why'd you guys like that episode more than other episode?" You know. I'm gonna go extreme aggressor. I'm gonna go the pilot episode.
I know.
For number 11.
Yeah.
I can't let it get further up, you know? Like I can't willfully rank it in the top 10 of this season.
I know.
This far, no farther. This is my line in the sand.
I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna put what's less. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do Ride the Lightning for 10. Riding the Lightning for 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do Compulsion.
Oh yeah, compulsion is
for 9.
up there but down there. Okay.
Yeah, and Extreme Aggressor for 8. Okay.
Okay. All right. Now let me catch up here.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, just perfect. Okay. For my number 10, what was Natural Born Killer about?
Natural Born Killer was like that serial killer who like was the most prolific serial killer ever, but they said that like 4 more times. And then
Oh yeah, who's turned it into a profession, so he is.
Yeah, and there was like the
serial killer
Italian
hitman.
mob, and Derek kept playing like chummy with the Italian guy until he like said something about it, and um then Hotch is like some people have bad fathers and then become killers, and then
Oh
the
right,
guy's
it's
like,
that
"What
good
about
Hotch
you?"
episode.
And Hotch is like, "I fight killers," or like, "I catch people like my dad."
Okay,
Hotch
yeah.
said daddy issues.
So true, King. Have you ranked a real rain yet?
No, it'll be next. I was waiting. You have to catch up. Catch up. What's your number 9?
I'm sorry. I got distracted by the fact that you're ranking Real Rain at number 7 or higher, which is fucking insane to me. You cannot do that.
I don't know. I mean, JJ's so good in that episode. Tanya Pinkin is so good. Gideon tells a reporter, you're not strong enough to be a serial killer."
True. Okay, I'm gonna go. Compulsion is gonna be my number 9 as well.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm gonna go. Oh.
Are you gonna put LDSK higher than any of these other things? LDSK or Poison? I mean, honestly.
LDSK though was like pretty good.
Was it?
Well, it wasn't that good. Okay, you know what? Maybe LDSK is gonna be my number 8.
Great.
LDSK will be my number 8.
Number 7, I'll put a real rain.
Thank fucking Christ! I couldn't stand to see that any longer. I put a real rain at number
16.
At number 16.
Yeah, it's my
and you
7.
put it nearly 10 spots higher because of Tanya Pinkins.
Yeah, this is how I live my life. I'm having a great time, honestly. But like, think about it. You gave Poison a 7, and I gave Poison a 5. Whatever the fuck this one is. You gave Riding the Lightning a 4, and I gave it a 1. We have some like disparate ratings.
We do have some disparate rankings.
We both gave Natural Born Killer, and Unfinished Business, and Derailed in 8.
And that was the highest we went this season.
Yeah, an 8.
So, man, season 1 is not good, huh?
I hate this season. Season 1 has an average score for me of 4.32 and for you of 4.64.
It barely squeaks out a 4.5 overall.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. We hate this season.
Here's the thing that's gonna piss you off a little bit more.
Oh no. What's your number 7?
I think it might be the Fisher King.
Oh, interesting.
I think
I
it
keep
might
forgetting
be.
about that episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's not at the bottom, but I think that might be my number 7. Yeah, I think that's definitely my number 7.
Okay. My number 6 is going to be the Fox. Again, barely remember it. That's the guy that, like, crawls through fucking doggy doors.
Yeah, and he does come back later.
Yeah, he does.
We see that killer again later.
Outfoxed.
Outfoxed, which is such a good episode title for a killer called the Fox. I think that's very good.
Yeah. What's your 6?
I
Your options are the Fox, Natural Born Killer, Derailed, The Popular Kids, Poison, and Unfinished Business.
I think
I know. They're all very close. I
think I might do the Fox as well.
Okay.
You put Poison so low, and I think it's a very good episode, actually.
I didn't like it that much.
I think my number 6 is going to be the Fox, and now we're into the top 5 for this season. Top 5 episodes.
My top 5 is going to be Unfinished. No, it's going to be The Popular Kids. Which is the one where the kids kept looking at a dead body in the woods, and they also have that terrible conversation about Katrina being God's will. I don't know why this is so high. I actually kind of hate this episode. I don't know why I let it get so high. Fuck, I'm thinking about moving it down.
Okay, you think about that. I think I might. Okay, you're moving it down to the Popular Kids is.
Yeah, hold on.
I'd love to be going through and changing all of these instead of just copy and pasting them up a level.
Oh my god.
I think my number 5 is going to be the Popular Kids.
Okay. I moved the Popular Kids to number 7, so a Real Rain is 6, and the Fox is 5.
Okay. So my options for the top 4 episodes of this season are Natural Born Killer, Derailed, Poison, and Unfinished Business. Your options for the top 4 episodes of this season are Natural Born Killer, Derailed, Unfinished Business, and The Fisher King Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
What is your number 4?
My number 4 is going to be Unfinished Business.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's 4th out of 22. That's not nothing.
Yeah, that's fine. I think my 4th is going to be Poison because I liked that episode quite a lot. I think the discrepancy between where I ranked Poison and where you ranked Poison is going to be our biggest one because I ranked it at 4 and you ranked Poison at 14. We ranked them exactly 10 apart. Okay. What is your number 3, James?
My number 3 is going to be Natural Born Killer.
Okay.
What's your number 3?
I think I'm also going to have to go with Natural Born Killer because my top 2 are definitely Unfinished Business and Derailed. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So both of us put Natural Born Killer at number 3. So for number 2, I'm going to put Fisher King, The Fisher King, Part 1.
So that means your top episode this season is Derailed.
Yes.
And I am honestly agreeing with you wholeheartedly. I think
we have gotten so much mileage out of Derailed.
Exactly! We have gotten so much out of Derailed. Like, we mentioned that episode constantly.
So I know. All right. Okay. So, from best two worst. Number 1, Derailed. Number 2, The Fisher King Part 1. Number 3, Natural Born Killer. Number 4, Unfinished Business. Number 5, The Fox. Number 6, A Real Rain. I'm going to stop saying the numbers. Then it's The Popular Kids, Extreme Aggressor, Compulsion, Riding the Lightning, LDSK, Won't Get Fooled Again, Plain Sight, Poison, Secrets and Lies, Somebody's Watching, Charm and Harm, Broken Mirror, What Fresh Hell, Blood Hungry, Machismo, and The Tribe.
The only real ones on my list that are like vastly different from where James ranked theirs are I ranked Poison at number 4. My top 5 in order, by the way, are Derailed, Unfinished Business, Natural Born Killer, Poison, and The Popular Kids. And then the only other one that I ranked extremely different than you is really just Poison. Everything else is all within like a few spots.
Yeah.
Obviously, Machismo and The Tribe bringing up the fucking rear.
Right. Derailed is
as
number
we
1.
expected them to be. We got so much mileage out of Derailed, man. I really did not expect us to like that episode as much as we do or reference it as often as we do.
The thing about this ranking, right? For me, if you were like, oh, what episodes did you like this season? I would say Derailed, The Fisher King, Natural Born Killer. And then 4 through 22, wash. It's a wash.
It's a skippable.
So like this ranking, sure, this is our ranking, but for me, there are 3 episodes that I would watch again on my own for fun. There are 2 episodes I would watch again on my own for fun. Derailed and The Fisher King Part 1. And the rest of the season can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it is extremely, I think, interesting that we both just immediately we didn't talk about this beforehand. No. You heard the most we've talked today is during this episode as we were recording it. You've heard us doing all of our talking for the day. How we both managed to be like, Derailed is the episode from season 1. It's one of the only ones worth watching, honestly.
Honestly, I think Derailed and Fisher King Part 1. I'm tempted. Here's the thing. We have gotten a lot of mileage out of Derailed, but I think watching Fisher King Part 1, like Fisher King Part 1 was probably my most enjoyable, but we have talked so much about Derailed. I feel like it has earned the mileage we have gotten out of that episode, earns it its top 1 spot. But I think my favorite casual fun episode of that season is Fisher King Part 1.
But I just don't think Fisher King Part 1 stands up on its own without Part 2. And unfortunately, that means it is scattered across. It's scattered across season lines. You can't.
I don't know. You
can't have both of them. You know, like I don't think it stands up really good without Part 2. Honestly,
you have to remember
ragged on it.
You have to remember that, like, my masters, a large part of it is like medieval theater history, medieval literature. So that shit is right up my alley fun for me.
That is very... Yeah.
Like, I talk about Chaucer for fucking fun. Right?
Yeah, and that's fucked up of you, but you do. Yeah, those are our official rankings for season 1. Jay, do you have any final thoughts about season 1 of Criminal Minds or of Wheels Up before we just sort of disappear into the ether for a month before we come back?
Gosh, okay, yeah. Let's do it. Let's talk about the characters real quick. So Gideon. Mm-hmm. Hate that guy. There were a couple of moments that were oh, you're a cute old man, but the bad 100% outweighed the good.
Yes, 100%. I think
let's rank the characters.
For this season overall, I think the bad outweighs the good, period. Let me make another fucking... Hold up, let me just make another fucking...
Spreadsheet?
Let me just make another...
Just put a column.
Everybody shut up. Shut up. Character rankings? Okay. Who's the worst character this season
Gideon.
Of the regular cast? And
Gideon.
Why is it Gideon, obviously?
He's racist. He's homophobic.
Awful.
He pushes his view of family onto everybody else, but also does not stay true to them. because there are times when he says family is everything. You have to be with your family no matter what. You got to keep your family together. Divorce is bad. This is bad. This is bad. But then he doesn't give Hotch the opportunity to stay with his family on his birthday. He himself, his family is destroyed. When the CIA guy, it doesn't care about his son, Gideon says nothing about it. So it's like, if you're gonna be up on your high horse when it's time to be on your high horse, stay there. And also the fact that, like,
Yeah.
knowing that he like groomed Reed to be this FBI agent when Reed like had other things he wanted to do, like, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Just
It's
like,
gross.
yeah. What, do you agree that Gideon's the worst?
Oh yeah, absolutely, wholeheartedly.
Okay.
You had me from like, God, do you remember that one fucking episode where he was in Penelope's office and
Oh,
after he caused her all sorts of
the
fucking
girl with the
emotional distress
screens.
during the day? It's like, oh yeah, the girl with the screens.
She's great.
Fuck you, old man.
Fucking hate that
We
guy.
should put you in a fucking home, old man. God, he sucks so
He
bad.
like has somebody fucking killed in jail because he like doesn't like him, which, like, ugh, whatever. Okay. Next, so who else do we? Oh no, Reed L. Spencer, Rita Spencer, Reed L. JJ Hotch Penelope, Reed Hotch
Also
Derek
Morgan.
L. Penelope,
Yeah.
Reed Hotch Derek Morgan Penelope, Reed Hotch Derek L.
Yeah.
Penelope. Why can't I say these people's names? Um, you know what? Here, okay. For season 1 alone,
Just in the vortex of only having watched season 1.
Derek is the next bottom for me. Because in this season, he's, I don't know, misogynistic, he's brash, he's constantly being like, why are we talking about this case? Why are we doing this? And I found it unpleasant.
Yeah. I yeah. I think Derek as a character though was still more lovable than Reed. I think
You
Reed
think
is going to be
so?
my second. I think so.
I liked Reed in this season.
I just
Like, he's,
didn't.
well, actually, hold
I
on.
have no patience for a boy genius trope who's shitty. You know?
Actually, I was thinking about, I thought he was really cute this season, but now I'm thinking about like all the shit he gets away with this season that pissed me the fuck
Yeah.
off. Yeah, you know what? He's next.
Exactly.
He's next because Derek was like annoying, but he didn't
But
actively do bad things.
exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. So Derek is right above Reed. Okay. Okay. I think yeah, I'm with you there in that. Well, no. What did Penelope do this season? She didn't do anything bad though.
Well, she did the like
She
video
didn't.
game, but I feel like her playing that video
We
game
talked about
is better
we
than,
talked
like,
about that. How
outweighs.
that's absolutely not her fault. But
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna say Gideon's the worst. Then it's Spencer, and then I'm actually gonna put Elle next.
Oh, you're gonna put L under Morgan?
Yeah, I think so. Just because, again, he was like douchey, and I don't like the trope that he was. But Elle was like real shitty a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that
Was she?
CIA agent where she's like, "Tell us all about your
Yeah.
assault and shit, otherwise I'm gonna think you're a murderer." And then when the woman dies, she's like, "That sucks." I don't know. And like when JJ like knows
Yeah.
things about her, she's like looks at her all weird, like, "What, you looked up things about me as if that's your job or something." I don't know. She and Derek, I think, are
I
tied,
think
but I feel like she has a few more mean
they're
spirited
really
moments.
close.
Yeah, but I think she has a few more mean spirited moments.
Yeah, it's like is Derek's the thing is also you have to think about
Right.
like yeah, is Derek's like season 1 stuff mean-spirited or does he just have to sort of play that straight man of like why
Yeah.
are we actually going here if they had the
I
guy why are
also
we
I
talking about
also want to
this?
put L's. I need to rank L lower for the shit with her being Hispanic. Like the fact that they made her
True.
Hispanic on a whim, the fact that Lola Gladini is white, etc.
Yeah, no, I think I'm
I
I'm with you there.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and then I'll put Derek.
I think and then Derek at number 4 on the
This is
character
seven. There's
rankings.
always a
Yeah,
core
okay.
seven, right? Gideon, Hot, Reed, L,
Yeah.
JJ, Derek. No, yeah, seven. Yeah, so my bottom it's Gideon and
Mhm.
then Spencer and then L, right? And then Derek.
Yep.
Because I
Mhm.
didn't like Derek's.
And
I didn't like.
I'm ranking them the exact same way for now.
Yeah, I didn't like Derek's like casual, um, like it wasn't even like it wasn't like misogyny, but that like workplace flirty when we don't know like if that's chill or not
Yeah.
yet, and then the constant questioning. I didn't enjoy.
The constant questionings. I think my number 3 is actually, this is going to be controversial, Jay, but my number 3 is going to be JJ.
JJ, me too, me too. Unfortunately,
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Good.
she's
All
not
right,
in this
perfect.
season enough.
Cuz she just doesn't do anything this season. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like it gets better. Like there are she has a few gem moments. The like you need to change your tie moment, and then the like
Yeah.
my friends call me JJ. You can call me Jennifer. Like there's a few moments where you're like, fuck yeah, queen. But overall,
Yeah.
she is not a person in this season. If again in the vacuum of season one, she's cute, she's funny, she's great at her job clearly. She's an interesting like mix of that standard like pretty girl media liaison and like a little snarky, a little driven, you know, but
Yeah.
she doesn't do a lot. Honestly, if
She does
if
not do a lot.
no, if she had had like a couple, like if she had like I would say she had a pretty like bland season, but if she had been a little meaner, she would be way lower. You know, it's just the fact that like the scenes that she's in are so good
Yeah.
that keeps her up. You know, there's nothing really dragging her down. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. It's that
yeah,
she doesn't have anything dragging her down. She just also doesn't have anything dragging her
yeah,
incredibly high up.
yeah. Um, my number two is gonna be
Who's your second
Penelope.
most favorite character this season?
Penelope.
Okay. Okay.
I fucking love Penelope Garcia.
I we love Penelope Garcia in this house. I don't know.
I feel like Hotch got
I don't
so
know if
many
Hotch
cute
beats her.
family moments. We got to see him be authoritative, but also be like a fun dad who was in a musical in high school, and like he got to be jealous because of Gideon, and he got to make jokes
Yeah.
about them needing a vacation, and like he just like had such a good like he was cute, but he was strict, and he could be mean, but he could also be incredibly compassionate. You know, we saw him as a work person and a dad person, and fuck if he doesn't look good in a suit.
I might go with you there. I guess I can't like Garcia's like Penelope's wonderful and I love her so dearly.
But she's
Like you
barely in
guys
the
have no
season.
idea. She's the light of my life. But she's here for like 5 episodes for like 3 minutes every time.
Yeah, and they're the best minutes of the episode,
So,
but there's so few.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the official Wheels Up ranking of characters this season.
Okay, so
Will it
tell
change
me,
next season? Absolutely.
tell me from
At the
best to worst.
at the top of the ranking
Yes.
is Aaron Hodgner, then goes Penelope Garcia, JJ, Derek Morgan, El Greenaway, Spencer Reed, and Jason Gideon. In this, Jay and I are in complete and utter agreement. This is the official good rankings.
Yeah. Okay, now final thoughts.
Final thoughts on this season. It was certainly the first season.
It was the first season, huh? Okay, let me see. Let
It
me
was the
gather
season of
my
TV that
thoughts.
we watched.
That it was. I think that they did a okay. Okay, I'm gonna say something and then I'm gonna qualify it. I think they did a
Okay.
good job they did a good job of establishing how they were going to do cases, establishing how the team worked, the dynamics. It was a good setup. We understand by the end of the season, we knew that we would have a nice family moment, then we would have a case during which each person's strengths would be highlighted, and then they would work together to reach a conclusion. And at the end, we'd have a moment that tied back to the beginning. And we got to see everyone's kind of personalities, at least a little bit, and we understood what the interpersonal conflicts were, and it was interesting enough to continue forward. Here's my qualification. Season
Uh-huh.
2 is so vastly different in terms of tone, like characters leave, like people's strengths change, the dynamics change, all of that. That season 1 ultimately ends up setting up almost nothing.
Yeah. No, I completely see that.
Like if season 2 had matched season 1, this would have been an amazing setup season. I mean, I hate the episodes, but in terms of like the information they give us and the way the show works, it would have been perfect. We would enter season 2 knowing what to expect, knowing who everyone is, knowing how the team works. The problem is, it all changes by like season 6 of episode 2, or by episode 6 of season 2. Season 1 becomes obsolete.
It really is the case of like, I don't want to say like power creep, because that's more like a video game term and not really what we're talking about, but like
I don't know what that
season
means.
2, it's almost like character creep, where like you did a good job of setting up this original world and this characters and everything, but by the time season 2 came around, by the time you're like a third of the way through, everything has changed so rapidly that it doesn't even feel like season 1 belongs in the same show. Like
Yeah.
season 2, we are going into Criminal Minds, the show. It is the same in name, and that's about it. They don't reference season 1. They don't, like, the only way they play off season 1 is the Fisher King Part 2 being the premiere. Like, that's it.
I would say that, and here's some spoilers for season 2, but I would say that when Elle leaves the show, Elle leaving the show really for me is like that's the end of season 1. When Elle leaves, that is the end of part 1 of Criminal Minds. And then I think there's like 3 or 4 episodes that might as well have been like a movie between seasons. And then Emily joins, and
Yeah.
that's when Criminal
Okay.
Minds kicks off. Not necessarily like because of Emily
That's when Criminal
Prentice.
Minds, the show, is here.
Yeah, not necessarily because like of who Emily Prentice is, but they add her, and she's kind of like that character type is like the missing piece. Elle wasn't it, you know? And
Yeah.
not knocking Elle, not saying Elle wasn't good for the show, but like the show they wanted to have and the way they wanted to tell the stories was missing a piece. And I think it was the rich, mysterious lesbian character was that missing piece. Elle didn't quite bring that dynamic. So for me, it's like when Elle leaves, that's the end of part 1 of Criminal Minds. Then there's a little break where the characters get to be like, what's coming next? And then Emily joins, and then we have Criminal Minds the show. When I start rewatches, I start on season 2, episode 9.
That's fair.
Because that's
I
when Criminal
think,
Minds
yeah,
starts.
I don't think that is an uncharitable way to look at it. Yeah, I don't think that's like a bad way of looking at it, honestly. I think that's a really good way of looking at it. Is like they had a,
and I don't mean it in any sort of negative way.
yeah, it's just, yeah, I think when Elle leaves, that's the end of season 1. That feels like the end of season 1. It feels like they
Yeah.
should have had 26 episodes in their first season just to get it all out of the way.
Especially because, and okay, so now
Looking
looking
forward into season
forward,
2.
the beginning of the beginning of season 2 is, you're so right, is that rapid change. Like when we come back, Elle is so different. Everyone is so different. I feel like there's a bit of a time skip. Or maybe this time skip happens after Fisher King Part
It would
2.
have
But there
to.
is. Elle ends up being gone for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Elle ends up being gone for a bit and she comes back with a bob. Don't
So
they all?
true. So true, Queen.
And a bob and bangs. That's like everyone leaves her when they come back, they've got a bob and bangs. She looks great, by the way, with her short hair. I much prefer it to her long hair.
She really
Anyway,
does.
she comes back changed, and that change changes the tone of the show. You know, like you could have done season 1 of Criminal Minds. You could have done a movie where the first part, where you could have done a movie of Elle's last episodes, and then start season 2 with the team of being like, we have to move forward without her. What are we gonna do? It's just, yeah. All of Elle's last episodes might as well have been like one very long episode.
Yeah, and I
She's just so
wonder
different.
how we're going to end up ranking it next year. This time next year when we do our rankings for season 2. I wonder if we're going to see that clear split on what we like and what we don't like based on the fact that this season
We will,
starts
and for
so
me, it's gonna be pre-season 9, pre-episode 9.
I think it's interesting too because season 1 is like pretty good. Like I'm not saying it's like a great first season, but like if you look at it in a vacuum, it's an interesting concept for a crime show. And like all of the episodes on IMDb are ranked at like 6s and 7s, which is pretty good. I just think that as fans of Criminal Minds, like the show, like the whole shebang, we look back at season 1 so despondently because it doesn't feel like Criminal Minds. It doesn't have that heart or soul that Criminal Minds has. It has like allusions to it. You can see it trying to break through sometimes, but like it's just not the same show as the rest of the series.
And I think we talked about this in episode 1 of the podcast. I think this is true for you, but it's definitely true for me, that I watch the show for the characters, for their bonds, for how they interact together. Like it's about that development and it's about their lives. And while they're growing as people and as friends, they solve crime. And I think season 1 really focuses on the crimes. It is more about the crimes. Like, yeah, the team's a family and we care about them as people, but it's more like, I'm glad that people solving these crimes are fun to watch. As
Yeah.
opposed to like, I think, again, when Emily joins and those dynamics shift a little bit, and then again when Gideon leaves, I think Rossi is like that final puzzle piece. And Rossi
Yeah,
isn't great,
Rossi
but I think he
helps.
fits the tone better than Gideon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's more of the tone. Like he's weird in the same way as everyone else, whereas Gideon is not. But I think that like we watch it for those dynamics and the friends, and season 1 is so much a standard procedural.
Yeah.
It's got a cool, fun twist, but yeah.
It is still just like a standard procedural that
Yeah,
came
I'm
on in
looking forward to season
2005
2.
of CBS, right? Like, yeah, it's a procedural that you can bet will have a second season. And it's just I want
Yeah.
it's just so interesting to me. I'm going to be very interested in season 2 to see the difference between season 2 episode 1 and season 2 episode 2 because they filmed all of the Fisher King
Yes.
together and then they just waited to edit it until they
Mhm.
were doing season 2, but like I want to see that abrupt difference. You won't see a change in Criminal Minds until season 2 episode 2, and then you'll be like, oh, this is a little bit different. And then once you hit like episode 6 and then episode
Yeah.
9, you're like, whoa, what is this show? So I'm really excited to see that for next season.
Yeah.
Is there any other like final thoughts you wanted to say about this season? I mean, like overall, it was like I didn't hate watching any of it except for like the tribe and machismo, right? I liked rewatching and
Yeah.
talking through the episodes with you. I think doing this podcast makes season 1 a little bit more bearable because you have somebody to listen to your dumb jokes and yell at the show with.
Yeah.
But like, what's final thoughts, final
Exactly.
opinions?
Yeah, we were very hard on this
We were
season.
really negative on this season.
I think it Yeah, and I know that from here, well, from a few episodes into season 2, we're gonna get a lot more positive.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. This season is just not. I think I think if this had been on television, I would not have even finished season 1. I think if I had not known how fun it got, I wouldn't have stuck with the show. I would have said, I don't think this is for me. Um, but I'm very much looking forward to season 2 and for being able to make fun of this show in a more
Yeah.
positive
Instead
way.
of just saying this shit sucks derogatory, we'll be like, this shit sucks affectionate. That's it. That's all we're doing. We're just changing the tone tag at the end of this podcast. Yeah, because I started watching I think when I started watching Criminal Minds, I think I started from like season 4 or something like that. I just started in the middle somewhere, wherever Netflix
Mm.
told me I had last left off. And so I watched it and I'm like, wait, this isn't season 1. So I went back to season 1 and I'm like, this is not the same show. And that's just true. Season 1 is just,
It's not.
it's only Criminal Minds in name. It is not Criminal Minds in heart.
Yeah.
So
No.
I'm excited to actually get into like
Yeah.
the heart and soul of this show.
Watch
Yeah, I'm
Criminal
excited to
Minds.
actually watch Criminal Minds now that we've done a fucking year of prep work. God. You know what this feels like? You know what this feels like?
Ugh.
You know when you have to go into like a surgery and they're like, okay, you need to do all this prep stuff beforehand. You need to drink this stuff that tastes really bad to clean out your insides so we can rearrange your guts. That's what
Yeah.
season 1 kind of feels like.
Yes.
You're like, this goes down hard and I'm having a bad time with it, but I'm gonna have a surgery and then I'll feel a lot
Right.
better. And that's what the break is. Once Emily Prentice comes in like episode 9, we're like, oh, this is post-surgery recovery bliss. That's just what it is. This is like the shitty prep drink that we
Yeah.
have to drink before surgery, unfortunately.
I love that they were like final thoughts in season 1.
Yeah,
Let's talk
it's
about
just
season 2.
season 1 is definitely like, I can see why this is a crime procedural that got a second season. I am so thankful it changed
Yes.
drastically during that second season. I am so
Yeah.
thankful.
It's like Parks and Rec. You know, Parks and Rec, everyone is like, don't watch the first season. But you got to know the like premise and who these people are. You know, but as soon as it changes its format,
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
oh, thank God.
And I think that's how we'll be looking forward. That's it for this episode, or for this season of Wheels Up.
Wow.
We've done
did
it.
it,
We've done
Bea.
a whole season. It's been a whole year. Jesus Christ. This podcast is taking a little break for the month of October. We will be back sometime in November. So if you want to know when exactly that will be, we will be posting it on our social medias at Wheels Up Pod. It'll be everywhere. And we might release like an updated trailer for season 2. Who knows? The sky's the limit.
We got to. That first one is so bad quality. It was with my like
True,
headset
okay.
mic.
You will know when we come back. You will know when we will return. You will hear it. You'll hear it.
Yeah.
You'll hear it in nature. We'll be singing for us to return. I've been your wonderful host, Bea. I've been joined by the best James. Do you have like an ending quote? I'm kind of springing this on you right
You are
now.
wonderful.
Do you want to do an ending
Oh.
quote for this season?
Sure. As Shamar Moore says. Wow. Hi, B.
I'm crying real tears right now. What a good way to end the